Today we will discuss and understand a very famous novel by Margaret Atwood, that is The Handmaid's Tale. The Handmaid's Tale is a novel written by Margaret Atwood. It was written in early 1980s in West Berlin. It was published in 1985. Its setting is in Cambridge and Massachusetts. When this novel was written, the literary period was feminism, and its genre is dystopian and science fiction. These were the key facts of the novel, and now let's proceed with our story ahead. So, first of all friends, the meaning of handmaid is a female servant. So this novel depicts a tale of a female servant, and also let me tell you that this novel is set in USA. But as it is a dystopian novel, everything in USA has been changed. Everywhere in USA, strict Christian principles are imposed, and everything is in the control of religion. In this story, there are many things which can't be done by women. That is, there is a restriction on many things which can't be done by girls and women. Powers have been taken from women, and USA's name has been changed to the Republic of Gilead. The story begins with a girl named Offred, and this girl is a handmaid, which means that she is a servant. She is also the protagonist of our story. There are many restrictions imposed on this girl by a handmaid's training camp. As of now, she is living in a house of a commander and his wife named Serena Joy. In this house, along with Offred, there is another handmaid named Ofglen. These two handmaids, Offred and Ofglen, are only given freedom to go to shopping together, and except that they are not allowed to do anything. One day, these two servants go for shopping, and these two servants stand in front of a wall where people just have been killed. They get very upset by seeing the dead people. As their shopping is done, they come back to their home. As story proceeds, one evening, Offred was sleeping on her bed and was thinking of her past. In her past, she had a husband whose name was Luke, and they had a 5-year-old daughter. Offred and Luke lost their daughter, and also they had a mother who was an activist, and Offred also had a brave friend whose name was Moira. Actually, let me tell you friends that the time in future when this novel has been set, in this time in future the capacity of women to reproduce children is over. That is, women have lost their capacity to produce kids, and the birth rate was falling rapidly. And at all, if any kid was born, that kid had a lot of diseases and had a bad health. But Offred was one of the women who was capable of producing children, and this Offred was handed over to the commander for producing children even against her will. In this society, a strict dress code is followed. For the handmaids there are red clothes, for the wives of commander there are blue clothes, and the widows wear black. As the story proceeds, Offred, often against her will, has to fall in sexual activities with this commander so that this Offred can produce children in the society. This Offred is kept in a room. She doesn't get freedom except she can go for shopping. The handmaid who used to stay in this house before Offred had killed herself, that is, she had committed suicide. Offred always thinks that why did the previous handmaid had committed suicide. This story again and again goes back to Offred's flashback. Before becoming a handmaid, this Offred used to live a very happy and wonderful life with her husband in her past. They had a 5-year-old daughter, and this Offred used to work at a library with her best friend Moira. Offred's mother was a feminist activist, and that time there were many diseases spreading in the world. And that point of time, the party governing USA lost the elections, and the party governing USA changed. And that point of time, Offred lost her job, and she went down a hard time. And there were many restrictions in her life. Her feminist mother was also lost somewhere. Offred and her husband Luke thought of crossing the border of America and enter into Canada, but at the last moment they were captured. Offred, her husband, and her daughter were separated from each other. When Offred opened her eyes, she was in a handmaid's center. She didn't know what happened to her husband, and later her name was changed to Offred at the handmaid's center. In the entire novel, Margaret Atwood does not tell what the name of Offred was before she became a handmaid. While in this center, she was made believed of strict religious beliefs which were nowhere present in the entire world. In this society, power only rests in the hands of male. Nothing is done by women and handmaids. Women have lost their power, which means this society is turned into a patriarchal society. Women have lost their powers, desires, and interest. Women are only kept to produce children. That's it. Offred and Moira both were brought in this handmaid center. But Moira decided to run away from this handmaid center not once but twice. Once she was caught and she was beaten a lot, and on the second attempt to run, she successfully ran away. After that, what happened to her, nobody knows, but you will get to know this as the story proceeds. The story again comes in present, where Offred is staying with the commander and his wife. Although she gets into the sexual activities with commander, she could not produce children. And she knows if she cannot produce children, she will be tragically killed after all. Offred thinks that she is just a tool who can produce children. One day, Offred understands that her partner, handmaid, Offglen, is working for people who are against this society. One fine day, this commander called Offred for a secret meeting. He calls Offred for not once but for many times for meeting. But this meeting was wrong. This Offred went to a place named Jezebel to meet this commander. At this place there were many prostitutes. Among those prostitutes, Offred got her friend Moira. There Moira told her story to Offred, and after that this Offred went to sleep with the commander. After that, many things changed in the life of Offred. Friends, let me tell you that there was not a problem with Offred, but there was a problem with the commander. The wife of the commander, Serena Joy, came to know that his husband was not capable of producing children. So Serena Joy asks Offred to involve in sexual activity with a man named Nick and give birth to a child in this house. To the request of Serena, Offred agrees and started to do all the sexual activities with Nick. While doing all the sexual activity with Nick, as a duty, Nick really started to love Offred, and Offred told everything about her past to Nick, and Offred felt that she is pregnant now. On next day, a new handmaid went to shopping with Offred because the old handmaid named Offglen had committed suicide. This was told by the new handmaid to Offred, and after listening to this, Offred went back to her home. While going to home, the wife of the commander, Serena Joy, caught Offred because Serena came to know that Offred and his husband used to go to secret meetings. As a punishment to go to secret meetings, Serena had called the police to catch Offred. Now Offred was waiting for what was going to happen with her. She came to know that a black van would come to pick up her, but before the black van would arrive, Nick came to meet Offred and started motivating her. But then a black van came and arrested Offred and took her away. And after that, it's not told in the novel that what happened to Offred, and this is how the novel comes to an end.